Welcome back to Good Morning KU Sports. I'm your host, Colton Kinnan, and we've got a packed show for you today. There's a little bit of everything going on in the sports world, so let's dive right in. Coming up, Caden will wrap up the MLB season with a full roundup of the latest action and any breaking news. Then Jack's going to give us an inside look at tonight's big KU's top 10 matchup here in Allen Fieldhouse. Later on, we'll hear from Tyler, who's got all the latest news on everything KU, and Zach will give us his thoughts on the college football playoff rankings. But for now, let's send it over to Caden for some breaking news. Caden, take it away.
Thanks, Colton. An MLB investigation concerning a highly touted teenage prospect in the Dominican Republic has found that player submitted falsified documents claiming to be 5 years younger than his actual age. The shortstop Cesar Altagracia was seen as one of the best prospects in the 2027 international class. The San Diego Padres had a verbal agreement in place with Altagracia for approximately $4 million in 2027. That contract has now been withdrawn after finding out that the shortstop is 19 instead of, I believe, 14 years old. A decision for a suspension is waiting to be seen from the MLB. The typical suspension for a case of falsified age is a year. More news around the MLB is the Oakland Athletics are officially no more. The Athletics released a statement on Monday detailing the new brand guidelines and location where they will play until a more permanent site is built in Las Vegas in 2028. The guideline informs that the team will be referred to as the Athletics and A's until they move to Vegas. And while the Athletics signature font and logo will not be changed, the team will be moving to Western Sacramento to play their games at Sutter Health Park for the 2025-2025 seasons with an optional additional year. The NFL's trade deadline passed on Tuesday, and multiple high-profile trades were made before the cutoff. The two most prominent last-minute deals were Saints star cornerback Marshawn Lattimore and a fifth-round pick, moving to the Washington Commanders for a third and a fourth and a sixth-round pick, and Browns edge rushers Darius Smith and a seventh, heading to Detroit for a fifth and a sixth-round pick. It will be interesting to see if these moves will get either team over the hump and into the Super Bowl to stop the Chiefs from their historical three-peat aspirations. Up next, Jack is previewing Kansas basketball's latest matchup.
Thanks, Caden. The Kansas Jayhawks are back at Allen Fieldhouse tonight to take on the North Carolina Tar Heels in one of the most anticipated matchups of the entire season. The North Carolina Tar Heels come into the game after defeating Elon in their season opener 90-76, behind an all-around performance from preseason first-team All-American R.J. Davis. Davis finished the night with 24 points, 7 assists, and 7 rebounds, and helped control the tempo throughout the night. Point guard Elliot Cadeau showcased his ability to be a dual threat with the basketball in his hands. Cadeau finding his teammates for open looks was a common theme throughout the game, and he was also able to create his own shot off the dribble and even had some opportunities for some catch-and-shoot jumpers. One of North Carolina's key pieces will be wing Seth Trimble. Trimble came off the bench for the Tar Heels last season, and head coach Hubert Davis gave him an opportunity to start Game 1. Trimble had a great game on both ends of the floor with 15 points, 3 assists on the offensive end, and had 2 steals and a block on defense. I would expect Trimble to start again tonight and use some of that defensive versatility to interrupt Kansas's powerful offense. The last player we will look at is true freshman Ian Jackson. Captain Jack, as some call him, walking to Chapel Hill, being ranked a 5-star prospect and the number 8 player in the 2024 class, according to 24/7 Sports. Jackson had a rough Game 1, but showed flashes of what he can do when he gets comfortable in the new offense. It'll be important that Kansas finds a way to keep the Tar Heels in check if they want to walk out of Allen Fieldhouse with a win. On the other end, Kansas had the pieces to match up with North Carolina. The Jayhawks took care of business in their season opener, coasting to an 87-57 win against Howard on Monday. Transfer guard Zeke Mayo starting to find his rhythm in the Jayhawks offense and led the team in scoring with 19. DeJuan Harris and Hunter Dickinson also contributed to the win, contributing on both ends of the floor. Dickinson had 16 points, 3 steals, and 2 blocks in his limited minutes, and Harris showed off his passing abilities with 5 assists in his limited time. Kansas also has a true freshman, Flory Badunga, and he has shown that he is ready to play for the Jayhawks. The number 14 player in the 2024 class, according to 24/7 Sports, showed up on Monday with 13 points, 8 rebounds, and only 17 minutes on the floor. Though they will not guard each other, it'll be fun to see the 5-star matchup between Jackson and Badunga tonight. The keys for Kansas are simple. Make North Carolina take contested shots. The Tar Heels love to shoot the basketball. They took 80 shots on Monday, which is nearly 30 more than what Kansas shot. Forcing North Carolina to shoot contested shots will be critical because they have the weapons who can make Kansas pay if they're left open. The second key to the game is stopping North Carolina in transition. UNC had 18 fast break points, 13 of those coming off turnovers. Just like Kansas, North Carolina likes to get out and get easy baskets at the rim, whether this is in transition or off a forced turnover. If Kansas can limit North Carolina, they'll have a good chance tonight. The last key is to utilize Hunter Dickinson down low. It is sort of crazy to sit here and say, hey, let's use the player who is preseason Big 12 and first-team All-American. But it's true. North Carolina just doesn't have a center that can match up with Hunter. And if we can find ways to play inside-out basketball, Kansas will create better looks both inside and on the perimeter. That is all the insight I have looking into tonight's clash against North Carolina. If you can't make the game in person, make sure you tune in to ESPN2 to watch at 6 p.m. Now, I'll send it over to Ryan to give us a breakdown in recruiting.
Thanks, Jack. As we've entered the back half of the football season, coaches around the country really start to ramp up and fill out their recruiting classes before National Signing Day in early December. While the Jayhawks have not had any recent commits in the 2025 class, Lance Leipold and company are still looking to fill some vacated spots. The class currently has 14 commits and sits at 15th in the Big 12 and 67th nationally per the 24/7 Sports team rankings. So what can we expect next? We can expect some late flips from prospects and highly regarded transfers to make their way into the class. Motion has already been in progress as On3 Steve Wiltfong has put in a crystal ball for 4-star wide receiver Jaden Nickens to commit to Kansas. According to Wiltfong, he would play basketball as well, so this would be a win for both programs. Nickens is a lengthy 6'3", 190-pound wideout out of Sierra Canyon in California. He was priorly committed to Oklahoma but decommitted in March. While nothing is guaranteed in recruiting, it certainly looks promising that Nickens will be a Jayhawk on the hardwood and gridiron once pen hits paper. Another recent crystal ball was put in by 24/7 Sports' Michael Swain for another wide receiver. This time it's for 2025 3-star Bryson Hayes, who the Jayhawks are in prime position to flip from Nebraska. Hayes is a speedy 5'11", 180-pound receiver from Maize, Kansas. The skill positions are a huge need for this program moving forward, with pretty much the whole receiver room graduating after the season. So closing the deal on these two would be a massive win. Those prospects have not committed yet, but we've seen some big-time commits in both football and basketball within the past week. Lance Leipold got his first commitment in the 2026 class last week, and it was a big one. Quarterback Jalen Mason out of Northwest High School in Wichita made his pledge to the program. It's always great to get a quarterback early in the class because it's the most important position and gives the staff more time to focus on filling other needs. Mason picked KU over Iowa State and Liberty. The Jayhawks also landed their first transfer of the 2024 cycle with the pickup of South Carolina linebacker Bengali Kamara, who will play in Lawrence for his final year of eligibility. Prior to a short stint with the Gamecocks, he played 4 seasons at Pitt. During his time as a Panther, he played in 48 games where he had 120 tackles, 12 tackles for loss, and 5 sacks. Jayhawk fans should be excited about what they're getting from the 6'2", 229-pound linebacker, as he will bring in much-needed experience and playmaking ability to the defense. I don't believe the coaching staff is done bringing in talent for the cycle, but we'll just have to wait and see. In basketball news, Bill Self picked up his first commitment of the 2025 class with a bang. Highly coveted 5-star shooting guard Darren Peterson committed to the Jayhawks last Friday as KU held off a late push from Ohio State. To put into context how big of a deal this is, Peterson is the 3rd highest rated recruit ever in the Bill Self era, only behind Andrew Wiggins and Josh Jackson. The Napa, California native has been regarded as a generational talent from scouts and is one of the most complete basketball players to come out of the last 2 cycles. 24/7 Sports scout Eric Bossy ranked Peterson 8th in his latest rankings for best high school shooting guards of the past 25 years. He is a versatile guard with great basketball IQ, scoring ability, court vision, rebounding, and defending. Peterson should be ready to play a huge role as soon as he steps foot on campus next year. Bill Self and company are still in pursuit of 5-star power forward Bryson Tiller out of Atlanta. Tiller is a big-framed player who is athletic and can score in different ways. The biggest competition in this race is Indiana, Auburn, and Georgia Tech. If KU can close the deal with Tiller, that would be a big boost to the 2025 class and, more importantly, next year's roster. The football class looks to finish strong, and the hoop staff is chasing the best talent out there. The future is bright in Lawrence. There's a quick rundown of the biggest recruiting news we currently know when it comes to KU football and basketball.
Thank you, Ryan. Coming up, Tyler will give you a rundown of all things KU sports, followed by Addie giving us a look at KU volleyball. But first, we are going to show you guys Caden's man on the street.
4 minutes in the game and you can't move the ball 20 yards at all, so.
I mean, we're trying our best. Not the greatest, but like, it could be worse, so.
After a win against Houston and losing the heartbreaker to K-State, as you said, how do you feel going into the next matchup against 11th ranked Iowa State?
I mean, I don't necessarily think that they're better than K-State. I think K-State and BYU are probably the 2 best teams in the Big 12, so I think there's a chance to win, but if it's a close game in the 4th, then we'll probably lose it like we have all year.
You know, I feel like we got a chance, like we can do it.
I think we have a chance to make it a good game, for sure. I I think we just got to finish the game strong.
The Jayhawks have 4 games left on the season, including the Iowa State game. How, record-wise, how do you think we go in those 4 games?
I don't know. I say we win 2 and we lose 2.
Maybe 2-2.
Not too good with records, but I think we'll do all right.
And moving on to basketball, considering all the influx of talent that we're getting in right now through the portal and then the freshman class, how do you feel about this team? And do you have a favorite player that's coming to Kansas?
I like AJ Storr. I think he plays hard, so and he plays good defense.
I think Zeke Mayo could be huge.
Okay.
I think on paper we're better than last year, and I think we're ranked #1 for a reason.
I feel like with the freshman class coming in, it's it'll be really good to get more energy and more youth on the team, and I think it'll be exciting.
I think we'll do pretty good. KU's historically always had a great basketball team.
And is there a matchup you're looking forward to going to the most, or just kind of watching?
I'm really excited for K-State. That's gonna be so fun to watch, and the rivalry there is just gonna be amazing.
I'll admit I don't watch much sports, but I'm looking forward to see us win.
I'm excited to see the North Carolina game, second game of the year.
I mean, I'm excited for North Carolina. I think that'll be a good one. And then, anything that comes in March, a couple Big 12 games will be good, like Houston.
And then finally, how far do you have this Kansas team going, either in the Big 12 tournament or just in March Madness in general?
I think we can go all the way. I mean, we're #1, so theoretically we can do it. But yeah, I think we'll go far, and it'll be fun to watch.
I think we can go to the Final Four this year.
I mean, hopefully that they win the whole thing.
Welcome back to Good Morning KU Sports. A lot of sports being played for the Jayhawks, including golf, basketball, soccer, and baseball. Starting with golf, the men's team was in Hawaii last week, and they finished 3rd out of 21 teams. The Jayhawks finished with a total team score of 817, which is 35 under par, the second lowest 54-hole score in program history. In the 3 rounds, senior Gunnar Broin shot 11 under, which led the Jayhawks. Both KU basketball teams are off to a good start. The women's team knocked off Lindenwood Wednesday 56-43 without 5th-year senior Yvette Mayberry. She started 32 games for the Hawks last year. Samaya Nichols led the Jayhawks in scoring with 20 points in her season debut. Sophomore Brittany Harshaw went 3 of 7 from deep, scoring 9 points in her 37 minutes. As for the men, they took care of business against Howard 87-57. Zeke Mayo shined with 23 points off the bench, including going 5 from 8 from the 3-point line. The big men had a strong showing as well. Hunter Dickinson put up 16 points and hit a 3, while Flory Badunga, the freshman from the Republic of Congo, scored 13 points and had 8 rebounds. One of their biggest tests of the season is tonight at 6 p.m. when the #9 Tar Heels come to town. They beat Elon 90-76 in their opener. Game will be on ESPN2. KU women's soccer has had an incredible run in the playoffs. They first beat West Virginia in overtime, scoring 1-0 with a game-winning goal from Lexi Watts. On Wednesday, the Jayhawks beat number 17th-ranked Texas Tech in a 2-1 victory to send them to the Big 12 championship. KU's Raina Canus scored at the 40-minute mark, and 10 minutes later, Olivia Page scored the second goal for the Jayhawks. Although the Jayhawks gave up a goal to Texas Tech's Ashley Williams in the 64th minute, they were able to hang on the rest of the way. KU will face number 6th-ranked TCU in the Big 12 Championship Saturday at CPKC Field at 7 p.m. That game will be on ESPN+. Lastly, KU football team has a tough task against number 17 Iowa State. The Cyclones were 7-0, but took a 23-22 loss last week to Texas Tech. KU's last game was on October 26 when they lost to the, at the time, number 16th-ranked K-State Wildcats 29-27. The Jayhawks are 2-6 on the year and would need to win out in order to be bowl eligible. Standing in their way is number 17 Iowa State, number 9 BYU, number 20 Colorado, and Baylor. The game this week is at 2:30 Saturday at Arrowhead, and the game will be televised on Fox Sports 1. Shifting away from KU sports, Zach is here to talk about the upcoming college football playoff rankings.
Thanks, Tyler. We're officially at week 11 of the college football season, and it's finally that time in the season when the postseason rankings are first released. The BCS, or Bowl Championship Series rankings, are first released mid-season. It's a system used to rank the top 25 teams for the postseason. It changes throughout the last weeks of the season, and previously, since the start of the 4-team playoff in 2014, the top 4 teams at the end of the season would go to the playoff, while other teams would play in prestigious bowl games. However, this year is different, as it is the first year for a new 12-team playoff format. The 5 highest-ranked conference champions will get an automatic bid, and the top 4 of those 5 will get first-round byes. After that, the next 7 highest-ranked teams will be given a spot in the first round. This new format will be very exciting to watch, as there will be almost triple the amount of playoff games compared to previous years. It also makes a few extra playoff spots available, giving several extra teams a shot at the championship. And because of the dissolution of the Pac-12, a group of 5 school is guaranteed to make it as one of the top 5 conference champions. This past Tuesday, the very first BCS rankings of the year dropped. Let's take a look at what the bracket would look like if the season ended today. The current projected Big Ten champion and undefeated Oregon claims the number 1 spot, and the other 3 byes are currently held by leaders of the other Power 4 conferences, Georgia, Miami, and BYU. Then we see 3 more Big Ten schools in Indiana, Ohio State, and Penn State, as well as 3 SEC schools in Tennessee, Texas, and Alabama. Then Notre Dame and Boise State round out the top 12. This layout would make for some very exciting matchups and should lead to a thrilling postseason. Though these rankings are bound to change, these top 12 teams are still favorites to claim a spot in the playoff. Now here's a look at the rest of the top 25. There are quite a few notable teams here who will all be hoping to jump into that top 12 come December. The release of the BCS rankings is always an exciting time in college football, and it will be fun to see how the 12-team bracket plays out. Now over to Addie to talk about some college volleyball.
Thanks, Zach. Switching gears from college football to college volleyball, your Kansas Jayhawks are currently ranked 8th in the country with 20 wins and only 2 losses, most recently losing to Arizona State on Wednesday night. With playoffs just around the corner, let's recap the 2024 NCAA volleyball season so far. As the 2024 volleyball season kicked off in August, the initial rankings seemed to be set in stone. However, this season has been defined by surprising upsets and unranked squads turning heads. If you know anything about college volleyball, the Big Ten dominates most of the country, as Nebraska, Penn State, Minnesota, Oregon, and Wisconsin are all fan favorites to win the national championship come December. The University of Texas, the back-to-back national champions, began the season number 1 ranked overall, and also looked to be favorites to three-peat. Things started to shift, however, when Texas lost to number 18 ranked Minnesota early in the season. Texas was looking to bounce back when they returned to Austin, but later fell to an unranked Miami. This was not the only shock amongst the volleyball world, as number 2 ranked Nebraska fell to an unranked SMU team in Dallas in 3 sets on September 3rd. Then, just 2 full weeks into the season, at the time, number 3 ranked Wisconsin suffered 3 straight losses to Louisville, Texas, and Stanford, only picking up 1 set win per game. So with all 3 of the preseason top 3 teams going down very early in the season, fans started asking the question, what is happening? Now, there is no honest answer because hypothetically they should not lose like this. Year after year, Nebraska, Wisconsin, and Texas get the most highly fought after recruits in the country. As a former athlete myself, I would be naive to say that these teams should never lose because losing is a part of any sport. But the losses they have experienced have raised some questions, as they have the best athletes in the country. Within the past 13 seasons, a Big Ten team has sat at the top of the volleyball world 6 times by winning a national championship. Penn State won it all in 2010, 13, and 14, while Nebraska won it in 2015 and 17, and Wisconsin most recently in 2021. Given all of these recent losses, the volleyball world is beginning to wonder, has the ACC claimed the title as the top conference in college volleyball? Pittsburgh is ranked number 1 overall, and with 1 loss to, you guessed it, SMU. The ACC also has 5 other teams currently ranked in the top 25. Looking ahead to the NCAA tournament, you will obviously have your no-doubt contenders such as Louisville, Penn State, Pittsburgh, and Nebraska, who I believe will hold the number 1 seed in the tournament. The 2 and 3 seeds could go either way, but I think Kansas is a contender to try and grab a 3 seed, if not a 2, and Texas will hold strong at the 2. You will also need to throw Oregon in there for a 3 or 4 seed, same with Minnesota, as they have both played well in the Big Ten this year. I know one thing for certain, though, I would not want to be on SMU's side of the bracket. This team has shown that they can legitimately compete for a title come December with multiple ranked wins over high-profile teams. For the Final Four, I have Penn State taking on Stanford and Creighton taking on Pitt. I take Pitt to finally win it all this year and be the first AC team in history to win a volleyball national championship. Pitt has just looked too dominant on the court this year. The team has lost 3 consecutive times in the postseason semifinals, but look to make a push to the national championship with sophomore duo Tori Statford and Olivia Babcock, who were both All-Americans as freshmen last year. Selection Day will take place on Sunday, December 1st, and 64 teams will have a chance to compete for a national championship. Our Jayhawks can make a deep run into the postseason, so it'll be fun to watch them along with our basketball team in December. After the break, Colton is here to give you the recent updates on sports betting.
National champions deserve a clean campus. Don't wait for other Jayhawks to pick up your mess. Keep the University of Kansas clean.
Well, it is the most exciting time of the year for sports fans. The NBA is in full swing, college basketball has officially tipped off, and both college football and the NFL are in the heat of their peak seasons. Now, I would love to talk to you about these seasons, but instead, today, I'm going to tell you how to make some money from these sports. I have the recipe to become rich with 3 guaranteed picks for all you sports bettors. Now, the first lock of the day is none other but your Kansas Jayhawks over the Tar Heels tonight. The spread is at Kansas -8, which means the Jayhawks will have to win by 8 or more points tonight. So Kansas, who is a better team than North Carolina, is playing a top 10 matchup in Allen Fieldhouse, and they only have to win by 8 points. Yeah, that's a lock. That's no question about it. Now, the next guarantee win I have for you this weekend is the Minnesota Vikings at -4.5 over the Jacksonville Jaguars. Now, this is not the Jacksonville Jaguars team we saw a couple years ago, and as a Jags fan, it pains me to say, but the Jags might be the worst team in the NFL. With no Lawrence, no offensive line, and no identity for the Jags, there's absolutely no way the Vikings don't win by more than 5 points. Now, the last sports bet I need you to put down this weekend is the over on James Harden's points tonight. Don't just punt the over, you need to slam the over. Harden's line is set for 22.5 points against the Sacramento Kings tonight. Now, I can assure you Harden is scoring more than 22 points tonight. I would even slam it if it was 30 points. This isn't the vintage beard we are talking about, but he has scored 17 plus points in every game this year, and I promise you he's going to have a breakout game and step back his way and do a 30 ball tonight. Now, I hope you guys all listen to this, and I'll check back with you guys next week to tell you guys you're welcome for the free money. Now, staying on the money topic, Ulysia is here to talk about some NIL.
Thanks, Colton. South Carolina's freshman Dylan Stewart might be making upwards of 7 figures next season with the most lucrative NIL deal of anyone on the Gamecocks roster. The linebacker was named a semifinalist for the Sean Alexander Freshman of the Year award and was ranked 14th on ESPN's scouting report. While the NIL agreement has not been officially signed, it is expected to be in place by the end of this year. And Dylan, who is making less than $500,000, will be able to hit 6 zeros in the very near future. For another major NIL deal, Alabama's Ryan Williams, who had announced an NIL deal with Uber Eats just days ago, has announced another agreement with SCUF Gaming, a partner of Call of Duty. The 17-year-old has an estimated net worth of around $1.7 million and is ranked 16th in college sports in terms of NIL valuation. Revisiting the 6'9" forward from Utah Prep, AJ DeBanza has recently signed an NIL deal with Nike reportedly worth over $4 million. The top-ranked prospect in the class of 2025 has yet to touch any college playing time, but this deal signifies an evolutionary change in NIL, one where global brands are now digging into high school phenoms. That's all I have on recent NIL deals. I'll go ahead and pass it over to Olivia with the weather coming up after.
You may not hear it at first, but it's there. Our chant, rising. On this summit, callings converge, voices unify into a chorus that sounds out for good, for greatness. Can you hear it?
Good morning, Jayhawks. Welcome back to Good Morning KU Sports. We've had a lot more interesting weather over the past couple days, and we're going to be seeing that trend continue throughout this weekend. But first, taking a look outside right now, this is at West Topeka. As you can see, we're having mostly overcast skies today. Currently in Lawrence, it's about 51 degrees, mostly cloudy, and winds are about 10 miles an hour. Now, all of these clouds are associated with a storm system that's currently tracking across much of Kansas as well as Colorado. They're even having snow out there in the Rockies. Thankfully for us, we're just seeing some showers and storms across much of the state, especially currently right now in central Kansas. This is slowly going to start to work its way up into our area tonight. As you can see, the rain will slowly start to build this evening. We're not really expecting impacts to be severe until more of the overnight hours, but we are going to expect those storms to slowly push out of our area throughout the night and into tomorrow morning. Now for today at least, we're expecting mostly cloudy skies. There's going to be a chance of scattered showers possibly later on this afternoon, but it's a very slim chance. We're mostly expecting clear weather for today, and then we're going to expect those rain chances to continue to increase as the evening goes on. Now for the basketball game tonight against UNC, again, we're expecting just cloudy skies for our pregame and tip-off times, but again, once we hit that final buzzer time, there could be a chance for showers to start developing there, but for the most part, your forecast is relatively good for the game tonight. And then tonight, we're looking at a low of about 48. Showers are going to be expected, as well as some heavy rain later on. We're expecting up to an inch of rain for the area, so be prepared for rain to be on the roads if you're out super late tonight. And again, winds will be about 10 to 20 miles per hour, so that's mainly associated with the rain and system that's passing through. Now looking for tomorrow for the football game, we're expecting all of that rain to mostly move out of our area, and we're expecting a clear forecast for the game. So if you're attending any of the pregame events, expect a temperature of around 56 degrees, and then once we hit our kickoff time, we're expecting the temperature to increase to about 61, which is going to be your high. Once we hit the fourth quarter, the sun will have already set, so temperatures are going to cool off a bit, but it will be mostly clear skies for the game. As for our other sporting events, the only issue that we might be seeing this week is women's tennis this weekend down in Ann Arbor, Michigan. They might have a chance of rain on Sunday, but they're looking clear for both today and tomorrow. Otherwise, all of our evening events are looking clear throughout much of the week, so you're not really expecting any weather impacts for those games. And taking a look at our 7-day forecast, we're really just expecting the showers and storms to impact today, specifically tonight and tomorrow morning. But again, those showers should move out of the area relatively early, and we should have clear skies for the rest of the day. We're expecting temperatures to remain mostly cool throughout the rest of the weekend, but we will see a bit of an increase into Tuesday. And then on Wednesday, we're going to see another chance for showers and storms, and that's going to be associated with a cold front. So expect the temperatures to cool off a bit by the end of the week. Colton?
Thank you, Olivia. Hopefully the rain stays away for the football and soccer game tomorrow. Now, that's a wrap for Good Morning KU Sports today. Make sure to tune in to Playmakers at noon and join us again next Friday at 10 a.m. Rock Chalk.